output is nice, and he's got a dash to help out his team, which will give his teammates additional attack speed along with the Fafnir when they're on objectives. Maybe Renegades are just looking to burn Fire Giants and Gold Furies.
Yeah, not without consideration, John Finch, but they did let him through nonetheless. It is Dulcin and Gormizer on the call with Doug, of course, observing for us as the Phase 1 #1.
You're not going to feel anywhere near as tanky. You want to take it patiently and get those items online.
And you can see what the Renegades want to do here. Deep ward coverage on the left-hand side of the jungle. It's a gank from Lasbra, and it's first blood down for Barracuda. The writing seemed to be on the wall there for a little while. Pressure constant.
Worry about the damage in return. And unfortunately, Netrioid still needs that next item online. He could more than likely box Awesome Jake, no problem, which you see him doing right now.
Whoa!
But it's that turnaround potential that I think Freya just doesn't have yet.
Oh, wrong you is going to the skies into the backline, and it's the support who ends up finishing off the kill. Panatime with an assert to shying away from the Fury.
This is where I think Sanguine are going to end up suffering throughout the entirety of the game. Lasbra, when he drops that ult, he has two big targets. It can be Wrong You, which is getting a lot of damage now, or it could be Yarkor. Either way, it's going to force the duo lane to make some decisions.
Oh, no. 2-level lead be damned, I suppose. Netrioid is going to sprout some wings and pour down the damage onto the enemy soul and picks up a kill onto this.
Renegades. Soon after, we're going to see the mid lane Persephone, and then Yarkor is going to start making rotations, and all of a sudden, everybody on Sanguine should take the lead.
Oh, Jake disarms Netrioid, and that's maybe the best you could hope for, but it's beads from the Freya and the ultimate to try to move out of the fight. Not much damage. Panatom has dropped down the ultimate, but Shinto, he's rotated over as well. Now the Persephone has found a kill. To the skies, Wrong You brings 3 into the backline, but Fields of Love is there waiting, and Venenu better off for it as Panatom goes down. 1-for-1 trade continues here. Wrong You nearly finishes off Lasbra, and maybe the best you could hope for if you're the Renegades, but it's not all over just yet. Venenu hanging around, and now we finish with a 1-for-1 trade.
Sola Hunter here, it's going to work. With 2 carries on their side, they're going to be able to melt this.
Yeah, that's the biggest gold differential there on the net worth chart. It's Barracuda far and away ahead. Now Yarkor has popped the ultimate. SOT has to do so defensively, but Panatom has locked him in, and now it's the Bakasura who swung for a kill. Netrioid takes to the skies. It's the tier 1 tower that Barracuda will gladly walk under. And now the Renegades have pulled back 1 kill of their own and the Fury just a few moments ago. Fighting continues now in the mid lane as Wrong You has rotated over to try to help out Shinto. And the Horus wants to keep going. That's the stun down onto the Cupid. Fields of Love is going to force Sanguine back just a little bit. Aegis, not enough to save Shinto's life. This time Lasbra here as well. And Venenu will benefit to the tune of a double kill. Renegades thanking him for it. A Fury and 3 kills.
Showcase now. So maybe showing some strength, a little bit of old flavor in there for Sanguine, but we saw how that worked for the Knights, and it didn't necessarily shine out.
Uh-oh, Jake banished and takes a good bit of damage, but now Panatom has caught the Lasbra ultimate on the job. Venenu back beneath the tier 1 tower. Yeah, Yarkor, no problem walking down there, but he needs a little extra damage. Renegades have turned tail back to try to help their mid laner. Venenu gets the kill nonetheless. 1-for-1 trade there. Now Jake being looked at by Panatom, who has to leap away from this engagement. Lasbra dashes right back through. Netrioid up high is going to pepper down a good bit of damage here. Blinks exchanged across the map as Sanguine disengaged. Shinto has turned around enough damage to get the kill on Jake, and Netrioid has done the same to SOT. It's Barracuda left alone. Maybe one final shot, but the banish is big, and the Aegis is there, and down goes Barra, and this game has been flipped. Sanguine, 4 kills.
Yarkor kind of sacrifices himself in that scenario, but it ends up working out well for him because now they use Wrong You, they can all go in on the Fire Giant, that extra bit of damage, and it really is just the focus, right? Everyone turns to burn down Yarkor, right? Everyone wants to go in on this Cthulhu. No one's looking at Shinto, no one's looking at Netrioid, and now, yeah, you maybe get, way more kills than you deserve. A double here for Lasbra. Maybe it causes more trouble for Sanguine than I thought.
Yeah, good looks there from Lasbra. It is the Fire Giant taken down, but now only on the 2 surviving members here of Sanguine. Netrioid has found the banish around the corner. No problems on that one. Important for Sanguine to win that.
Shinto, both of them easily collapsed on. They might get a tier 2, but there's not much of a chance to really pressure that mid Phoenix.
There you go, it's the plus 1,000 gold differential here. The fight will certainly determine which way that one goes. Yarkor has no chance to do anything. SOT, big ultimate over onto Sanguine, and Jake finishes off the kill. It's the Renegades on the tier 2 defense, but Netrioid has something to say about it. Venenu finishes off Rongyu. It's Shinto and Netrioid, same members as last time, both left alive. Vanish connects onto Lasbro. One more auto would have done it. Look at the confidence from Sanguine, not backing away, but it's the Renegades coming out ahead, 3 for 1.
All right, so I was just wrong there.
And Yarkor for the large part of this game, but suddenly this Persephone, maybe the biggest difference maker in some of these fights for Sanguine. See, you look at the difficulty on getting onto Netrioid, getting onto Shinto. Twofold now for the Renegades. The Fire Giant has been started up. Yarkor playing Divider. Panatom there as well. Frenzy popped by Awesome Jake, but it's just to melt down the big old Cthulhu. SOT has used his ultimate here. Can he get rid of Yarkor? SOT is sure trying. Sanguine get the Fire Giant down, but they don't have the health to show for it. Renegades looking to chase on into the skies used, and see you later, says Sanguine. Netrioid gets the fadeaway, and they get out alive.
And that's so worthwhile. Not only all sorts of trouble for the Renegades by jumping in onto Venenu, by causing trouble for Barracuda, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just run the exact same strat.
It's Panatom who moves forward. Both actives still available for Netrioid. It's Panatom caught back. Barracuda finishes off the jungler. That's a fadeaway from Shinto that gets over onto Venenu. Suddenly the Cupid has to leave this fight. As I mentioned, Netrioid, both Aegis, both beads, still around. If anyone finds their way into the back onto this Freya, hasn't happened just yet. Netrioid taken low. Barracuda finds a good bit of damage, but Netrioid, he's got more. Underneath the Phoenix goes the Freya as Lasbra takes a tumble yet again. Barracuda locked down by Rongyu, and Yarkor is going to be the one to finish off the kill. 3 members of the Renegades left defending, could be 2. The Banish connects over onto Awesome Jake as Netrioid finishes off the support. SOT Venenu, last 2 left alive. Sanguine rolling their way in, 4 members strong, 3 with the Fire Giant buff. SOT is going to move forward. Venenu is going to try to find a stun, maybe turn this fight in their favor. SOT has found it. Venenu, he's gotten the kill over onto Yarkor, but is it enough? Netrioid says no. Titan's going to crumble, and Sanguine in 37 minutes look like they're going to take game number 1. A double kill from Netrioid seals the deal.
I think it comes down to the fact that Renegades, they play their comp well, they itemize well early on, they utilize...
The dominance in lane is there, the lockdown, the damage potential. If you decide to max Cthulhu's 3 just to troll on a casual, you're going to do 50% of someone's health bar at level 4. I mean, there's so much that Cthulhu brings in the early...
Thank you very much, Finch and Mifflin, for game 2 of Sanguine and Renegade. It's still Dolson and Goremizer, and it is Mulan support Gore, so... maybe Mulan out of her strongest role, maybe could, you know, Yarkor I think did have a good game. He was largely the damage leader throughout the early portions of it, but by the end of it, he would go big and then just kind of get melted down in similar ways to what Rongyu and Barracuda are having happen to them right now. Who finds the damage for first blood? It's Jake! This time, Netrioid left alone with the last 2 members of the Renegades chasing him down. Writing seemed to be on the wall there. Stun doesn't connect from Jake here this time, but the damage is still there from Barracuda. A couple more would have done it. Luckily for Netrioid, he's able to...
those are going to be maybe a little more difficult this time around. There is a heavenly agility on Rongyu this time around, so you're not going to be able to get an easy Fields of Love. And otherwise, it's just difficult lockdown.
To be the first big fight here, SOT will use his ultimate. Yarkor doesn't really care about it, and actually will get the kill instead. Lasbra weaving his web away from the engagement. 3-man rotation over to the
stun from Barracuda. He's going to start being a much bigger part of the fight, and you can follow up that aggression. Otherwise, you're looking at late game Jingwei still hits really hard. Same thing for Shinto.
That's right. Yeah, Netrioid having to play the Jingwei isn't something you're all that sad about, and this is why Barracuda catches all of that airstrike. Great body block from Jake to keep his carry alive, but it's at expense of his own life, and Netrioid will end up picking up that kill. Looked like for a moment there, Renegades maybe had the opening for something good on their side, but Sanguine are able to turn it around. It's Pyromancer stolen by Yarkor. Bad to worse across the map for the Renegades. In both instances, they start something that they think looks good, and in both instances, they lose it.
When we were watching set 1, all I can remember Mifflin saying was, yeah, just go ahead and try to stand here, is the way Cthulhu runs it. And it seems like that's how Sanguine are running it right now. It's just lockdown after lockdown. A good snipe from Shinto. I said she's kind of an ult, and if he makes it work like that, then that's all you need.
Tried to bait out that arrow there, but Barracuda will stay alive this time.
And I think Barra kind of realizing the difference between going that Typhon's Fang earlier that he had in game 1 versus now. He just doesn't have the lifesteal.
It all happens so fast, and it's always Panatom who just kind of walks in. It's the purple buff invade gone right, I guess, this time around, and it's now this Nemesis who is affecting the SEC. Maybe this is why. The presence that she brings is undeniable here up to this point. Lasper trying to get something going for the Renegades here 12 minutes in. Instead, is just taking damage from Netrioid on the back end. Panatom, Shinto, both rotating over from the mid lane. Could be a tier 1 tower dive looming large. Panatom drops the ultimate onto Jake. Gonna use the dash back onto Panatom. But Shinto will hit the shot that he needs to, and down goes Jake once more. Sanguine have been methodical for 12.5 minutes, and now pull themselves yet another kill ahead.
So game 1, we had said that the draft went towards Sanguine, but the play was in favor of Renegades. This time, I think it's kind of the opposite, where the draft is, in my eyes, a little bit more in favor of Renegades, but through and through, Sanguine are just playing at the level we expect from them now. And Barra, I mean, this is just a bad spot. Disapparate can only get you so far.
Fields of Love will sustain him a little bit further and actually maybe set up the kill on Netrioid. And the explosion gets him, so there's a silver lining for the Renegades. SOT is rotated over, ultimate down onto Panatom, and down goes the jungler. So a well-timed rotation from the Renegades is actually going to pull back quite a few kills there. It's looking dire for a few moments, but now the solo laner's getting involved and giving the Renegades a ray of hope. Moments like this, a Gold Fury started by the Renegades, and Sanguine immediately there to answer, and might end up actually taking down the Gold Fury as well. Venenu, Fields of Love down. Shinto catches the ultimate, and the Gold Fury falls, and Sanguine have it in their pockets. Rongyu takes half of his HP. Lasbra maybe re-engaging. Netrioid finishes off. Awesome Jake. A barrage of damage down from Barracuda. Panatom and Rongyu, though, a little bit too low to fight. Venenu gets rid of Sanguine's jungler. Lasbra on the wrong side of the map here is going to have to blink his way a touch further away from the fight. Yarkor just trying to play Separator. SOT will get the kill as well. The Cerberus rotations have been on point here for the Renegades, but Shinto, he's still alive and he's got so much damage. It's Venenu trying to sustain himself. Yarkor doing his best to plug him down. It's a split engagement here, Gormizer. Almost too much to keep up with. Shinto will take down Lasbra. SOT was going to fall as well to Yarkor, Venenu. Awesome Jake, the last two left alive, and I think
just a few things. You're not gonna, be mistaken. You know Yarkor is coming. There's just not much you can do about it. And now you're in this position, you know his ult is down. Maybe you can get aggressive, and it seems like Renegades are on that same wavelength. Good stun to start it off.
Got Rongyu, but look at that ultimate. 3 men knocked up from the Renegades. SOT cannot match those numbers. Panatom so close to finishing off the solo laner, and he does end up getting the kill. Barracuda, though, has traded out a couple. This is actually a winning fight for the Renegades at the moment. Heart Bomb over onto Yarkor, who tries to dash away, unable to do so, won't be stunned. Stays alive. It's Pyromancer plus a kill in exchange for 2 kills straight up for the Renegades.
Even though he's not on Freya, Netrioid still screams priority target for me, and I think that's exactly what Renegades are trying to do. In the last team fight that went 4 in their favor, it was a little bit bigger, but you still have to be careful. You can't let Panatom just run rampant. You have to make sure that you're
Netrioid, but not to be. Rongyu caught out a little bit here by SOT. He's going to turn around some damage of his own. So a little bit of poking and prodding Gore. Not to be surprised with the way both of these teams are playing, but push comes to shove, and it's Barracuda that has to burn a lot to stay alive here. Yarkor gets rid of Venenu. Barracuda back around the corner, still alive. No way Yarkor survives this one. Instead, he's going to turn around and go back in. He's got the support of the rest of his squad here. And look at Panatom. He's found the backline. He's found the kill. Over onto Barracuda. A couple more autos maybe nets him the triple kill here. Sidesteps the stun from both Jake and SOT. Lasbra maybe helping turn around a kill earlier on in that engagement, but it's a 2-for-1 for Sanguine. Now the right side is looking nervous.
I think the fact that Panatom is getting consistent damage in the backline is...
Well, the XP is even. Maybe the biggest differentiator here is Jake has not been able to go back, so he's 2/3 of an item behind Rongyu. on that Mulan, at least item-wise. Still Barracuda just slinging some autos, thinking about leashing maybe the Fury. Panatom and Laz were both eyeing one another on the backside of the Fury pit, but how else would one of these fights start except for Yarkor going big, walking into the backline, forcing Veneno to use both of his actives, and then getting the kill nonetheless. And then wandering out alive with 10% of his HP. SOT has something to say about it though, but you can't pull back the Cthulhu here. It's a 4v5. Shinto finds the shot, but good beads usage there. It's going to get the Renegades out of a lot of that route. Yarkor limping away from this engagement. 1 kill is all we have to show for it.
It's only 1 kill, but it's 3, maybe about 4 effective kills. Lazar the only one who's able to really stick around.
TKO.
Barra has to...
He is giving Sanguine the confidence now to start up this Fire Giant. Half HP remaining on the Beast as Rongyu is playing front line as well as Yarkor here. The double dash through. Panatom drops down the ultimate over onto Barracuda. No beads to save the Soul's life this time, but he does have Aegis if need be. Unable to pop it as Yarkor has a double kill. You gotta be kidding me. The Cthulhu absolutely running wild around this Fire Giant pit. The rest of the Renegades have looked for an opening onto the backline of Sanguine and pulled down Shinto with them. But SOT left stumbling, double stun on the mantle. A double kill for Panatom. That's 2 for Yarkor as well, and it's Jake left alone.
You know, this one's actually pretty easy to slice down. When it comes down to it, which team is getting into the backline and killing them off consistently? Sanguine. Which team is winning the team fights? Sanguine, because of all of that. And it is on the back of a phenomenal performance here so far from Yarkor. I mean, 6-0-5, you called it out, a double kill in that fight, being able to get Barra and Veneno. Unfortunately for SOT, for Jake, honestly, even Lazar was in that fight.
Oh, no.
They collapse in onto Panatom, they get Netrioid, they get Shinto, and they only walk away with one of them. Now, it's just kind of like playing with your food, it feels like, and how long it takes him to get rid of all.
His way into this backline, very linear fights here, all one lane. You just kind of have to walk into the back, or maybe you get a pull over onto SOT. That could start things out. Instead, Panatom and Yarkor are going to have no problem walking into the backline. Shinto has no problem in finishing off the damage. Panatom gets one onto Barracuda. Suddenly, it's 3 members of the Renegades left alive and defending. Veneno drops down the Fields of Love, but look at the airstrike up and over from Netrioid. Yarkor says bye-bye to Veneno, and the Renegades are going to walk their way in 33 minutes and complete, or Sanguine rather, going to walk their way in 33 minutes and complete the 2-0 over the Renegades.
I mean, this comes down to one consistency, and you know what? I was trying to veer away from it. I wanted to talk more about Panatom. He has a good fight there. Netrioid, the crit damage numbers, they're insane through that game. But at the end of the day,